Well, the reason some people think they're autistic and they're not is because they're confusing other things. And I'm going to go and break down all of those things now because I see this quite a lot. And happens quite often, especially on my channel and people I meet in public. So in this video, I'm going to tell you the difference between just having a self-diagnosed autism diagnosis and an actual diagnosis of autism and why that can be detrimental to you and what you can do about it. All that is coming right up right now. Guys, so, okay, let's just break it down a second, okay? Okay, not like that, break it down, but like let's go backwards, okay? So basically, autism can overlap with other kind of things. And what I mean by overlap is the appearance of it can overlap with other things. So autistic individuals can be anxious, they can be socially awkward, they can be depressed, they can have personality differences, and they can also have ADHD. Now, all of those things can also exist in a person who's not autistic, right? And so without professional assessments, without professional help, without professional screenings, all these signs can be easily misread because sometimes it's kind of like, I call it the online doctor syndrome, where you could like Google something like, oh, I've got a temperature and a rash, and someone's be like, oh my God, I'm dying, right? But like, you're not dying. It's just that those things can also happen. It's kind of like if you go to any drug that you buy, like, painkillers or anything, or ibuprofen, and you check the, maybe symptoms of or reactions or possible kind of like reactions to it. And all of them, it's literally everything. It's like nausea, feeling sick, death, or I don't know. There's all these kind of things because a lot of things can overlap, and also you can then misread the signs. So the goal basically isn't to be a gatekeeper, right? It's to help people to see what's really going on. Because think about it, if you're getting treated for autism in a way of like therapy or whatever, but actually there's something else going on, or it's not autism, then you're not going to be stimulated. Your brain's not going to be getting the right amount of attention, the right amount of things. So let's go through it right now. Okay, so first thing we need to talk about is anxiety. Anxiety is a really interesting one, and I'm going to give you a takeaway at the end of talking about this, how you can actually help with anxiety. Look, I have anxiety. I have an anxiety diagnosis, but I don't let it control my life. I have autism and ADHD, and my name is Dan, by the way, so if you're new around here, and make sure that you hit the subscribe button by clicking the notification bell so you don't miss another video if you're interested in this type of stuff, because I talk about autism and ADHD and all those kind of things. Now, anxiety comes because of something called fear. Fear comes from worry, and worry comes from the unknown, and the unknown comes from, well, not solving a problem or the perception of a problem, right? Or seeing a problem. So people in life will all have problems. And problems are good things, by the way, guys, because the more problems we have, the more solutions we can create, and the more solutions, the happier we become. But when we don't solve problems is when the worry and the fear and the anxiety comes. But if you just have extreme bad anxiety, this isn't an indicator that you're autistic, it's just an indicator that you have anxiety, right? Anxiety can exist on its own, but with autism also. But it's not a sole indicator that you're autistic, which is really interesting. So I see a lot of people thinking this. They're like, oh, I'm really anxious, I'm anxious around, kids or tractors or I don't know. And then they'll say this like, as if it's like a thing that it's supposed to be autistic, but it's not. It could be anxiety. And you can actually treat anxiety with medication and therapy, which is pretty amazing because it can help you level you out and you feel so much stronger and more positive. Now, no diagnosis at all. Not relating to autism traits confidently, without any history or testing can be quite dangerous. So if you're self-diagnosing online, you could be using up resources for an autistic person in a public setting where somebody who is autistic can't get access. Now, what I mean by this is there are sunflower lanyards that you can get, right, for showing hidden disabilities. And you don't need to qualify for this, but you just pick one up and wear it. What this means is that you get access to certain things in certain areas where autistic individuals may feel better and calmer in there. Or say you go to a grocery store. I know here we have Morrison's grocery store in the UK, and they have a sensory box. And the sensory box is basically if you go there and your kid's on the spectrum or you're on the spectrum, you can get a sensory fidget toy and you can walk around and do your grocery shopping whilst focusing on the fidget toy. And it really helps calm you down or get you normalized in that situation. But if you're not autistic and you go there and you pick up the last fidget item within the share box and a kid comes in who's a level 3, nonverbal, really, really needs a fidget toy and the mum's struggling, I couldn't live with myself if I'd have taken that and it was the wrong diagnosis, So having the wrong diagnosis could also negatively impact the lives of other people who actually are diagnosed who need those support things. I'm not saying that if you self-diagnose, you're not autistic. I'm just saying that if you self-diagnose and you're not autistic, then it's harder to justify the use of things. Well, here's a word from today's sponsor. Now, today's sponsor is Trustworthy, and it's more than just an app. Trustworthy is a all online dashboard that helps organize your family. It's kind of like the number one tool, the all-in-one organizer for your family, right? And so It is an app that you can use on your phone, on your tablet, or on your computer, and it's amazing. I find this to be an ADHD godsend, right? So me and my girlfriend are forever forgetting, oh, the trash goes out on this day. Oh, it's somebody's birthday, or oh, the kid's insurance for their healthcare runs out on this day. We need to renew this, or my driver's license renews this day, or if you're going somewhere and you forget your ID, you're like, oh goodness, I don't have a digital copy. Well, Trustworthy does all of that for you, all in one. Now, if I show you a screenshot here, basically you can keep all your family IDs on here. You can keep track of all your finances. You can even store your passwords for different things in here. You can also then put in all of your insurance stuff. You've got life insurance, medical insurance, any auto insurance, stuff like that. You can hide legal documents in here so you never lose them, and it's all in one central place, which is completely secure and encrypted. It's absolutely amazing, and I find it absolutely fascinating. Now, if you want to check out Trustworthy, please go to the link in the description down below and check it out. This is an ADHD godsend. It's kind of like organizing everything for you. And it's also got the nickname the family operating system, and it absolutely is just that. So please check out Trustworthy down below. I think it's a godsend, and I know that you're going to get a lot from it. Thank you for sponsoring this video. Now, ADHD is a big one, right? ADHD has struggles with focus and concentration and organization and remembering things. These are all very similar to that of people on the autism spectrum. However, the difference is ADHD people can socialize. They want to socialize. They want to make friends. They want to go out. They want to do things. They want to be seen, heard, and enjoy life. Where autistic individuals sometimes are so focused on something that is introverted, they don't want to do those things. They're not really bothered about socializing because they feel like there's no actual benefit to it. Because maybe when we were hunter-gatherers, there was a benefit, but now we're not. And for your information, guys, something really interesting is people diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome actually share more DNA with Neanderthal, which is an ancient type of human hominid on this planet, basically like an animal that looks like us, than neurotypical people who are not autistic. So, which is really interesting. In fact, I isolated my genes, my genetic code, and looked at what kind of things I would be allergic to and blah, blah, blah. And it actually said I have 2 genes related to people on the autism spectrum, which is really interesting. And they call them the autism genes. I don't know if it's an official term, but it's something that they look at on a genome basis, which is really interesting. But anyway, we're getting sidetracked here. ADHD does not automatically mean that you're autistic, and it could just be ADHD or not even ADHD. You could just have some of the symptomatic traits of ADHD and not be either. Self-diagnosis can raise some awareness, but what I would say about a self-diagnosis is if you're self-diagnosed and you're not on a waiting list, or you've got no professional kind of like backing and monitoring, like your professionals haven't put you forward for a referral, then it's kind of like, I don't think you would really qualify for it. And I actually know people who've done this and then gone for like 4 or 5 autism assessments, and they've failed every time. And they said, no, you're not autistic. You're just anxious, or you just have this or whatever. So it's really interesting. Now, the last one I'll talk about is socially awkwardness. Like if you're socially awkward, that also doesn't mean you're autistic, right? If you're socially awkward, it might mean that you can just, oh, I don't really like being around a lot of people, because people suck, or maybe, I don't know, they're not on your level of intellect, or maybe they're not interested in the same things you are, but that doesn't mean you're autistic. Autistic individuals can't be social or around people in social situations due to many things. Not knowing the social rules, the conventions of socializing, how to deal with friends, when to talk, when it's their turn to talk, when it's appropriate to say certain things, filters of language and other kind of personal details, sensory input from around the pub, noise, clinking their glasses, people talking, smoke, drinks, all this kind of stuff. It's not going to happen. It's too overloading. We avoid those things like the plague. And so that would create a difficulty in trying to figure out what is going on. Now, guys, if you're interested in downloading my free Bulletproof Brain Starter Checklist for autistic individuals, you can go to www.bulletproofbrain.org right now and download the free starter guide to building an autistic bulletproof brain, which basically gives you a rock-solid, confident mind able of doing many things. Now, if you watching on Facebook and Instagram, you can just comment the word brain and I'll DM it to you. But if you're watching here on YouTube, then just click the link in my bio description or the card on the screen here. And guys, that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.